guys can watch it later. But yeah, welcome to the show. I'm Langstrom, and thank you for being here. Generally, for those who are new, oh, hi Malik. You're from the UK. Nice. So it is 11. Is it? No, it's GMT plus 8, so minus 8. So it's 2 p.m. Yeah. I'm from the Philippines, so it's GMT plus 8, so I just subtract 8 hours. But yeah, welcome to the show. Welcome 944. And for you guys are three new faces that I haven't seen before. And so generally, how we start the show is just going over some fundamentals. Then we start with our scalping, charting, and possibly swinging. So yeah, first of all, the market dumped, as we all know. It really took a big poo poo, and we are in fear, which typically is a great place to place longs. However, if you guys haven't been in the previous streams, my general thesis right now is that the market's going to continue to dump. Bitcoin will probably go to 93 because there's the weekly FVG. Your Elliott wave extension is also down there, and your weekly golden zone is also down there. So I see the market just completely going down, really getting people to back off, really lose faith in the market, and then we go up a bit more to new all-time highs. So while normally this would be a great way to like swing long, I wouldn't. Oh, okay. Wait, let me just refresh so I know it's at 22. I wouldn't long it right now, if that makes sense. If we go to the, oh, hey OC,
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you? Welcome, welcome to the show.
Doing fantastic. I see that you're talking about the market dumps.
Yeah,
Finish up, and then I have a question for you, and like maybe we can go over that. But yeah, go ahead,
yeah,
continue.
of course. Okay, so now we're on the Bitcoin exchange liquidation map, and generally, while there are more shorts, and we do one day because this is a live scalping session. If it was a swing session, maybe seven, but we're looking at the one day. We can see that there are still longs stacked. So these are most likely high leverage longs, and people are trying to take advantage of the market. And again, it's a technically it's a sound strategy, but then again, when you look at things from a macro perspective, it really does look like Bitcoin and all these coins are going down. So I'm not too keen on being in a long for that for extended period of time. And as we look at your overall RSI heat map, we can see that everything is sort of weak. We're at 36.05. We do have some overboughts, so I do want to look at Jelly Jelly and ICP once OC's asked his question. But yeah, generally the market looks pretty bearish right now, and that's going to inform our session. But I guess before we start charting, OC, what did you want to ask?
Quickly into the stage and turn on my camera. And well, I know you're a scalper, right? I mean, it's right here into the baked into the title, right? So I have two big questions with their caveats, right? The first one, hey, are we in the bear market? Right? And the
Mm-hmm.
second one, would that or do you think that we're in the bear market, right? And the second question is, would that really affect the way that you trade? Not really, right? So those are the two questions, the two perspectives that I want to get from you, right? Because I mean, here in the channel, we have you going into very tiny trades. Then we also have Alexa Crypto going into 5 minutes, 12 minutes, 15 minutes trades. And then they got me, right, going to 30 minutes, 4 hours daily trades. So just I'm trying to collect, the perspective of all of the master structures and get a global feeling on how are we doing, right? And what are the different approaches to the market changes that we're seeing right now? I already have my thesis, but I want to hear yours, and then I go over mine because right now, let me just double check price of Bitcoin because I actually kind of removed it, and I just need
It's
to go
it's sub
all the way
104.
here. 103. Perfect.
Yeah.
And because one of my secondary entries, it's about to hit. I mean, in fact, let me go over first, show you my chart. I think that would be much of a better approach, right?
Sure.
And show you my thesis, and then you can let me know what you think about it, right? So, welcome to my spaghetti. This is my spaghetti. Let me
All
guide you
right.
through, right?
Lovely.
Uh, there you go. So I was expecting a little bit more of a bouncing here to dynamic reactor to follow through, but it's also very, very true that if I turn on my indicators here, my Market Oracle Pro, plus I had a 30 minutes reversal right down here, right? It's taking forever, but there it is, right? This is a reversal. So if we go over, and let me show you really quickly, this was, by the way, plan B, if you guys remember. Let me just get rid of this. If we go over Discord. So let me open up Discord so you guys can see really quickly. And then you go to Chart Prime, and then you go to additional content, and then under additional content, important classes. I know it's a little bit of amazing here, and then you click on the very first video, which I really recommend you guys to checking this out. This is where I explain how reversals work, right? We have three different sets of reversals, and every reversal represent a part of a either a price reversal or a time reversal, right? So it's not that we're going back in time, but we're hovering over time, which is also a reversal, right? So look at number 3, right? Coming down, we have a flag, we have a range instead of a full reversal. That creates a flat positive bearish continuation, like a Wyckoff continuation, right? And we can see right down here our example playing out, coming down, right? Ranging flag, that means continuation downwards. So we've been lately talking a lot about this continuation, and we see it playing over and over and over, right? So the very first thing I was saying, hey, if you want long this would have been your entry, as we have some flipped ribbon, and then getting somewhere around here for then a reversal. If not, just do a break of structure trade, right? My next entry, it is right around the corner. Look at that. It's almost there. It's this dashed line at 103,400, right?
Mm.
So I'm just waiting to execute my next entry. And these two, because last entry, sorry, it was at 106,800, 106,400, around the same area, right? And that is because I'm doing spot entries at this point. Let me, now that I show you this, let me go over to this one right here. And I see Little Fish. What's up? I see Daga. What's up? I see Malik. How's it going, guys? Great to have you here. Hey, an Aussie. All right, so you already have seen these guys, but and let me go to the weekly. So allow me, guys, to repeat myself. And if I go to the weekly, there we go. We have a big channel, right? Up racing channel and or up racing trend. And well, if we put a body here and sold in here, buy, sell, and guess what? Where are we getting to, right? So the point is, or my thesis is, hey, I'm gonna still call bullish, even if we get somewhere around 88. We're not bullish, but still with the possibilities of bounce up. Very important. If we don't bounce up at 100k, look at that. Let me zoom in here. So if we do not bounce up in 100k, or even the worst case scenario, 98k, well, then I'm going to say that we are on big trouble. So whatever happens in here, I'm going to execute another entry. So this is my entry zone, and I'm buying, right? In thinking that we might still have, like the previous cycle, maybe either a double top or one more run up to the upside. So I'm buying here in, well, thinking that we could maybe do something like that, right? And then, well, finally now breakout retest continuation and lose the trend over January. But that is my overall thesis. Very important. Why then is this going bearish? Because this is my worst case scenario. What if the price of Bitcoin just drops all the way to dynamic reactor and then we have a flat positive bearish continuation? That is just to inform, like the rest of the public, or what am I going to be doing with this Bitcoin that I bought in here? If we start losing this on the first retracement, I'm gonna be selling a portion of it, and the rest, just because I am able to, I'm gonna be sending it to Lend, and I'm missing an N right there. Right, we're not associated with them. Just so you guys know, this is not a sponsor commercial or anything like that. But this is what I keep most of, more quote unquote, most of my Bitcoin that is getting revenue from. All right. So last cycle, I did bought on the way down and I sent it over here. And when 3 hours capital was plumbing, when we have FTX just going crazy and nuts and everything like that, Lent did not break a sweat. And that actually earned my personal, yeah, it's a compound savings site, like something along those lines. They let you do some quote unquote leverage, but I'm not there to do leverage. I'm there to hold a portion of a Bitcoin, so it gives me revenue while I get back into all time highs. Just so you guys know, right? So something important, Malik. I'm not sending you there to just buy it or contract to send you your money. Do a little bit of your research, but personally, right, has earned my trust because last bear cycle it didn't break a sweat on that. But here we go. Let me ask you one more question, my friend. Langstrom, do you
Yeah.
think that we're on the bear market, or not, and how would that affect your approach of trading?
Okay. Thank you, OC. So personally, I guess let's get the big question out of the way. I don't think we're in a bear market just yet. So actually, so I do have an economics background, and essentially, right now, let, we're barring all the banking, financing, technicals of like the U.S. dual mandate system. Essentially, there hasn't been a massive injection of liquidity yet. That's the fact of the matter. There isn't a massive injection of liquidity in the market yet because a it's not just because the feds can't cut rates, it's because A, there's no job creation in the US currently because jobs are either getting bolstered by AI and people aren't really getting fired, and B, that means that capital is kind of just stuck in this weird limbo between being loose and tight. So essentially, I do think that we still get an injection of liquidity somewhere down the road. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to happen with these things because, news affects all of it, how other countries do sort of affects it. But generally speaking, we haven't gotten that massive injection just yet. And so when I pull up the 1 week chart, and I do apologize, yours looks like a spaghetti, mine looks like a bowl of Fruit Loops. So,
I love it, love it.
yeah. So I love color, which is weird because my favorite color is white. Uh, uh, but anyways,
Oh yes,
essentially,
you're right.
but essentially, one of my signals has us placed here around 93,000. So I do agree with you that up until we get to the dynamic reactor, I'm not really calling us in a bear market just yet. I'm still bullish, relatively speaking. And I think that if we get invalidated here and we just continue down, we break down from the dynamic reactor, break down from the point of control. I do think we're in a bit of trouble, and then I would be full on set that we're in a bear market. But generally speaking, in terms of trading, I think it doesn't really change the style of trading or like the fundamental aspect of let's look for an entry here, risk management, whatnot. It doesn't really change that. It just changes potentially how we might look or what kind of trades we might be taking. So in a bear market, like you, I would more accumulate and I would probably put in longs rather than shorts, which most people think or it would be counterintuitive to a regular retail person to go short or to go long in a bear market. But then again,
Right.
in a bear market, it's the perfect time to buy. Everything's discounted. Whether or not we get a super cycle in the next year, we won't know. But what's true is there is scarcity in cryptocurrency, and as soon as we get more institutions buying and really soaking up the supply of cryptocurrency, they want to make money for their clients. They can't let price dump to a point where their clients will lose money and they get angry. So it's this nice balance of knowing that a cryptocurrency can't drop to the point that a, a billionaire whale is going to lose 50% of his money, and b, they have to keep it in sort of a limbo to make sure people like us, unfortunately, I'm not sure if there are any whales here, but unfortunately we're like plankton in an ocean. uh, but yeah, generally
Yes.
that's my take on it, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on my take. Yeah, I said.
And I love it. I mean, if you take a look at, oh, am I muted?
Oh
Oh, I
no, no,
thought I
no,
was
you're
muted.
good, you're good.
Sorry. No, I love it. I love it. I think like we're pretty synchronized on what are we expecting, right? And part of this take on it's to like I've seen in Twitter going on fire. Hey, sell it all, right? Bitcoin is going to
You
zero,
heard it here first. Bitcoin is going to zero.
right? And things,
Yeah.
yeah, and and stuff like that. And yes, it's true that we are on a big drop down, right? But if we start looking at facts, right? First of all, if we look something like last wire, where we have a lot of indicators, macro indicators that tells that we're in the bear market, they're not firing just yet, right? Yeah, maybe we have one, we have bearish structure, right? We're going lower. But let's remember the previous cycle, right? It's not time at this point to start shorting it all like crazy, right? Or selling it all. What I would actually say is, hey, do not acquire new altcoins at this point if you're planning to quote unquote acquiring for the long run, because you might be getting a very dangerous zone. And another thing that I want to go over, and let me bring my screen up, it is transition zones. All right, so you guys might have heard like, hey, the trend is your friend, right? And that is truth until there's no trend, right? So we have three different market structures or four different market structures right there, right out there, right? We have uptrend or bullish trend, right? We have downtrend or bearish trend, and we have quote unquote no trend, which is sideways trend. Always sideways, it is a flat pause of a bigger backward trend. But for just the terminology of this class, of this segment, we're gonna call it no trend, right? And then there's also transition zones. Let me show you really quickly what a transition zone is like, right? We have macro transition and micro transition zones. So for example, right here, I think we can absolutely say that this is or this was bearish, right? And this is or this was bullish. But what about this range? And if you take a look at, we have a transition zone right here, and we have another transition zone, which this still was part of the range, but also quote unquote the beginning of the bullish market, right? So just telling you, when we are getting closer to the range or to the channel limits, that is a transition zone, right? Because that's where people start getting very scared. That's when emotions start getting like up to there, because in most of the cases it's going against what the bulk of the people was betting on, right? And well, then that's exactly where we are at, right? So right now, I would say, hey, you know what? We are very close to a transition zone, right? Look at the volatility. Look at this week in here, right? Look at now how many big wicks where they were in here, right? Same transition that is happening right now. So something about us traders, we tend to have a small memory, right? I mean, a short-term memory, because I would say all the adrenaline, stuff like that, that messes with our, I don't know, brain cells or something like this. But I would say that it's very good to, look at to the past, right? And say, you know what, we are in the same areas. What would I have done differently, like when I was in here? What would I have done differently when I was in here? What I was going to do different when I am in here, with also having a risk management effect. Because remember, we can still break this to the downside and actually go into the bear market, right? But I would say, just like you mentioned, bearish, it is always a good area to start looking for longs, right? Or for some accumulation on valuable assets, not on trash assets, right? But other than that, I love your take. I mean, I'm also within that same boat. And I also think so, right? I mean, if you're trading the 4 hours and the trend on the 4 hours, it's bearish,
Yeah,
short it,
the head and
right? Short
shoulders.
it.
Yeah.
If you're trading the 1 minute, right, and the trend is bullish, long it. Long it. The trend is your friend, and learn to identify those transition areas, right? Because that's where all of us, including me, right, in this transition area, if you take a look at my late night show, you'll see that right now we are kind of like a what 30 or 40 60 something like that on the trades that we're taking. We're only taking what one quarter of a position trades, but we are 40 60 or 30 80, right, on the hey, we take this amount, we win money on this amount, and we don't make money on this amount. Important. That also includes a stop losses. Why is that important? Because if we get stop loss on one, the other one, that because we're counter trading, all right, we have some longs and some shorts. So and let me show you something, like for example SEC, right? I was shorting SEC, and look at that. The damn thing actually went and hit my stop loss. Come on. Right? And look at that, man. That would have been a fantastic, fantastic, fantastic trade from yesterday night, right? It is what it is. We are in a transition zone, right? And well, do expect to trading be slightly more difficult on this month, I would say. But without further ado, let me pass it over to you, my friend, and let me quit interrupting your show.
Oh no, no worries. I think whenever we talk like this, there's a lot of value to be gained, and I'm learning from you. You're learning from me. We're learning from the people in the audience. So I think this is very conducive as well, and as much as possible, while we can use this time to make gains like USDT, we can also make gains just by being able to get those insights and that learning. So again, very valuable. Thank you, OC. But yeah. All right.
My
So,
pleasure, my friend.
um, wait. Oh, I think one more thing before I get to scalps. And actually, I do have a scalp ready for us, but I'll go back to wrong chart. Yeah, to the chart I showed earlier. If you guys actually activate your Market Dynamics Pro, I believe, and switch it over to, where are my channels? Is it here? The channels, yeah, the channels and big, you actually get that channel that OC did automatically. So this descending channel, and then you see that transition zone that OC was talking about. And while we haven't gotten anything here just yet, we do see that there is a trend line going upwards, and that's sort of the bottom zone that OC had on his chart. So technically you can use that as a way to chart, and then just parallel channel right there. It's not 100% accurate. You might have to adjust a little, but generally you can use these to your advantage, and it really does help having the automatic drawing of that, because sometimes you don't spot it, and the human brain is wired to our biases. But with that said, let's go over to the lower time frames for Bitcoin and Ethereum, Solana, and a couple of coins I wanted to look at tonight, or this morning. Really, it is nighttime here, so forgive me if I say night. But anyways, first of all, if we look at the 5 minutes on Bitcoin, we do see that there was a hidden bullish divergence, and we are getting that transition again to the upside. That said, momentum's kind of against us here on the 5 minutes. On the 1 hour, momentum and direction is trying to shift, but you see this heavy money outflow. And so that's why I was saying that even if this is a perfect time to long, theoretically, if you're a contrarian trader, because I'm a contrarian trader, I do trade with the trend, but as a contrarian trader, I like to trade when the trend starts and not when the trend's sort of in the middle, because in that case, I lose a bit of confidence getting in. So I'm not really that kind of trader, but I do agree, whether you're scalping, swinging, or holding, or in a position leverage trade, the trend is your friend. Just don't enter if you think that you've exhausted the moves. You don't want to chase, and you don't want to be the exit liquidity, right? So in Ethereum, same thing. We even got bearish divergence right here. We got rejected by the 618 on the 5 minutes, and we're headed down. Momentum is also headed down. Meanwhile, your 1 hour has that heavy money outflow. It is trying momentum and direction, but it's failing terribly. Solana's a very similar story too. Bearish divergence. We are getting weakening bearish trend strength, and we are bottoming out on the 5 minutes, but there's an FVG right here. So I do see a little bit more downside, and this looks bearish on the 1 hour too, even if your your chart prime oscillator plus points up, your volume's transitioning. This structure looks bearish, and so that brings me oh that brings me to the first scalp I wanted to basically talk about, which was Trump. But I think it kind of left us a little bit. Essentially, I wanted to enter or call it 7.38, but then kind of dipped. So in any case, I still think that there's a chance we can push to the upside because of the 1 hour. And what I've noticed is Trump, oddly enough, isn't entirely following Solana. Yes, it's down as well compared to Solana, but if you look at essentially the 1 hour and focus on this, so November 3, 12 a.m. Let's go to November 3, 12 a.m. Or is it November 3? Yeah, November 3, 12 p.m. Sorry, my bad. And we go to Solana on November 3, 12 p.m. You can see that they're not the same, right? Solana just continued dumping, while Trump had these very odd pushes to the upside while still maintaining essentially a bearish trend. So I see potential for us to get our entry, take profit at around 6.6, and your stop loss at 7.638. So I'll also post this, and I do have this ready. You guys get to see it first. So again, 7.38 entry, 7.638 stop loss, take profit at 6.6. Let me see. Langestrom. Let's check this out. I'm going to go save this, download the image. But yeah, moving forward, I'll also be doing this so you guys can also keep track of the calls I make, especially if you guys have to leave early and I make a call within the live. So let me just post this. Nice. Okay. So it's posted. Nice. All right. Yeah. So before I go on to ICP and Jelly, I did want to welcome everyone in the show. Welcome Malik, 944, Aussie, JR, Saints, welcome back, TechWatch, Johnny2S, Daga DT, Bye Felicia, Jay Brignac, Little Fish, Hex Mode on, and I'm sorry, your name sort of contracted on my screen, so I can't fully introduce you. But welcome to the show. I'm Langstrom, and if you have any questions, any coins you want to look at, just let me know. Any points for improvement as well, I would greatly appreciate it. And yeah, now let's look at one of the coins that showed, or sort of the outlier from the rest of the market, which was ICP. And of course, I am using Blowfin. Nice. Alright, so on the, wow. Ooh. I don't know if OC's still here, but do you see this? This is crazy. Look, just 3 consecutive green candles. Just boom, 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 boom. Okay. Anyways, what I'm seeing, and let me fix this so we can actually see our MVP ribbon. Right? What I'm seeing here is we appear overextended on the 5 minutes, but we're not even overbought yet, which is very interesting. Though our dynamic reactor and quantum reactor are kind of tight. They're very close together. So that for me isn't entirely ideal. Whenever this happens, typically we'll retest and go back down to the dynamic reactor, whichever reactor first, and then we start from there. So that said, I kind of want to look at this from a higher time frame rather than a lower one, because in terms of scalping, I think it's dubious to scalp it at the moment. All right. Good morning. Good morning, high upon. Hold on. Let's see here. Good morning, high upon a rock. Welcome to the show. All right, perfect. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So on the 30 minutes, we got our peak seeker, heavy money inflow. We are testing your 144 SMA on the MVP ribbon, and so we could get a bounce back up, or we could break down. On the 4 hour, we are overbought. We're in the premium on both, and so I'm more inclined to short ICP. The question is just where do we short it? Because while we got this peak seeker, we did see on the lower time frames that there is potential for it to basically move up. And so what I'm going to look for, I'm going to zoom out a bit and basically see where we got resistance. So the downsides of having a small monitor. Right. So we do have resistance here, and previously on candles, we got one here from the quantum reactor around here. So I'm just going to mark this area with a horizontal line, and you can see that this area and essentially this area where we had this head and shoulders and we dumped to the downside, I want to mark those two things because I think that this area right here is going to be a sweet spot for a potential short entry. And again, this is a live scalping session, but sometimes when the opportunity to swing presents itself, I'll talk about it. Let's see what else is in chat. Thank you for dropping by and saying hello. I really appreciate it, guys. And again, if you have any questions, anything you want to ask, literally, whether it's economics, crypto coins, stuff I might not know, feel free to ask. And let's just keep this interaction going, keep it lively, keep it easy, because it really is. And unlike previous sessions, I brought water because I'm now realizing talking for 2 hours really takes a toll on your ability to speak. I really thought those were all just performative back then. But anyways, I would set alerts on ICP from 5.598 to 5.77. I'm not going to call something just yet because this candle on the 4 hour looks you should have a set. Well, unfortunately, I don't think my desk will handle something like that, but if I did, if my room permitted it, I would have a setup like this. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I am using digital LRSS trick with the SMA. So, yeah. We can go over the SMA for those who weren't there last time, but yeah. Okay, but yeah, I would set an alert right here just to see if we sort of reject off of this level, right? Just to see. And I guess just for confirmation, let's go to the 12 hour. So, okay. Oh wow, look at that, guys. So 12 hour, massively overbought. Interesting. Excuse me. So we are at the money flow POC on the 12 hour. And of course, the moment we go to the 12 hour, we're basically setting ourselves up for what is potentially a very long swing or a position trade. And what I mean by a position trade is we keep it for quite a few months. It's basically holding, like spot buying or spot selling, I guess in this case, but with like very low leverage. We're talking 2x, 3x, maybe 5x if you're feeling adventurous, right? So what I'm seeing here is while this ribbon continues to go up here, you're getting that weakening bullish strength. You are getting that increase in money flow and bullish volume, and you are getting that momentum. But overall, right, when we look at it from a macro sense, it almost feels like we're retesting this chop or this range right here, And based on market conditions, I do feel that it is bearish relative to everything else. The higher time frames are saying it's bearish, lower time frames starting to get overextended, and so I do think that a nice alert here would be good just to see if we get there. I'm not calling anything yet, but I guess just as an idea, right? You do something like this, and then you literally go down all the way to the fair value gaps, and that's a place I like to basically look for a bounce right on the fair value gap. Sometimes it just consumes all of it, goes straight down, and we do have reason to short it down to 1.959 for the discount. But for me, something like this might happen. Again, this is not an official call, and if you take this, um, tech, this is just an idea. I don't recommend you take it. Again, just an idea because this might happen after the stream, and I'd like you guys to know what I think you should do if we get our alert. But overall, I would probably short ICP, given that compared to everything, it's overbought or starting to get really, overbought, and we got these indicators firing overbought, peak seekers and whatnot, and so yeah, I would say if we get that alert, most likely you'd want to short ICP, and you can pen down what I placed here. I might not take this depending on what happens, but if I do, you'll see it on my calls, or essentially I'll post about it. So yeah. All right, the other coin I wanted to look at, and I saw a lot of people basically, or not really saw, but I've been hearing a lot of people talk about jelly, and I guess is it available on Blowfin? Oh, I guess not. So, what other exchanges do I use? Mexi? Maybe not. Don't type Mexi, right? Okay. Jelly. Sure, it's available on Mexi. Yeah, jelly. Thank you, Malik. Yeah, jelly. All right. Oh, oh, and whoa. What is this? 200%? Sheesh. 12 and what is it? 1 day, 12 hours, 314%. Oh, terrible. Oh, sorry to hear that, Malik. Dash. Okay, we'll check Dash after Jelly. Yeah. But yeah, essentially. Okay, so for those who are new, whenever the dynamic reactor crosses above the quantum reactor, I take that as like a bullish cross. It's like when your 50 or 21 MA crosses above your 200 MA. Please get ready to. Yeah, I think this wants to go to hell, honestly. But yeah, for me, this is a bullish cross right here. But what I don't like particularly is the fact that the gap between the dynamic and the quantum is far too wide. So you don't want the gaps to be too close, because that means they can do like this weird cross thing where they sort of merge and then suddenly it dies, or it like does this. This could be a great entry, but usually it dies, right? Here it's way too long, so it's gonna want to retest the dynamic reactor again. And again, 12 hours is the same. Your dynamic reactor is so far from price on the 12 hour. So it needs to basically go toward price. Essentially, I would place an alert back here at premium. Same thing I would do at ICP, because the 12 hour does show that we have the potential to continue going, even the 30 minutes. So I would place an alert right here in the 12-hour premium zone at 0.22144. See what happens, right? If you're not sure whether or not you should enter a long or short, set an alert at the price that you think is going to bounce based on the magnitude or the extension left from like the CPO plus, and then just wait and see. That way you can basically carry on with your life and you won't have to stare at the charts every time, unless you're scalping, in which case you should really stare at the charts. Don't leave the charts when scalping. I'd say when swinging you can leave the charts. So yeah, scalping I usually just keep it here in the live or when I'm alone, and then swinging I just let it run. So yeah, all right, let's do what Malik asked, which is dash. And if anyone requested before Malik, I'm sorry if I wasn't able to see. So send it over again, uh, or just bump me. I'll get to it. Yeah. Thank you guys. All right, let's look at dash. Ooh, so very similar thing to do I use the same leverage on swings versus scalps? Okay, actually, I have a personal calculator. So, the thing I do is I do cross margin, and then I use 1% of my of like of the portfolio I have in the exchange, and then I just let it run based on like a 1 to 2. So I have a Google Sheets uh thing. I use a Google Sheet, so I'll probably show it on camera. Right. I just have my iPad there. Let me maximize the screen a bit and lower the brightness so you guys can all see. So I do have like a Google Sheets calculator because I took up an engineering class for economics, and so they taught us how to use Excel, and I basically have a calculator, and this is my personal log. So I put my entry and my stop loss, and then it calculates an appropriate amount of leverage based on the percentage of my portfolio I'm willing to lose for that trade. And it's always dynamic. So, for example, if I wanted to lose just 1 or 2% of my portfolio, or 1.5%, I just plug it in and then it does the math for me. I don't really have to think. So I get some weird leverage answers. Like I get 21, 68, 112. But yeah, and if you guys want sort of a template for that, I can make one, and I'll send it over. I'll put it in my chat. Just let me know. But yeah, I trust this to do the math for me based on my strategy. 525.50. I guess for scalps it's gonna be bigger, just because it's shorter time frame, shorter duration. I want to get my like ROI of uh what target ROI do I get? My target ROI is around 300% minimum, so that's like a 3% increase to my portfolio in a trade. So typically with scalps, it goes up from like 50 to 100x. And again, this is based on a strategy where I only lose a set amount. So right now it's set to 2%. So if I lose a scalp, I lose 2% of my portfolio. And then I want to gain around 3 or 4% minimum. 3% minimum, 4% great, 5% and more fantastic. So it's very much, it has a lot of risk mitigation. And then for swings, they look around like the 20 to 25-ish region. Yeah. Cross though is no SL, no. For cross, absolutely put an SL. Do not trade cross without an SL. I had a friend, he was starting out, and he started out with $2,000. He was able to make it, I think he was able to make it 10,000 in a week after Trump USDT.P release, because everyone was just using RSI. It was easy. And then he took one trade, fell asleep, forgot to put an SL. When he woke up, the 10,000 was gone. Oh, okay. So yeah, it was painful. He 5x his money, and then it was gone because he fell asleep and forgot to put an SL. Yeah, so please give those again. I want to write your risk strategy. Absolutely. So, um, my risk strategy is based on my entry price and my stop loss. So, right now, I calculate. I have a 1 to 2 risk to reward. On this stream, like for example, the Trump one, I believe it was a. Let me check. This is a 1 to 2.5 because my personal take profit 6.6, right? So I'm giving you guys something I would trade, and in fact, I am trading Trump right now. Um, I entered here at 8.402, and so I do see, and I was transparent with that in my call. Essentially, from my entry to my stop loss, I get the percentage, and my sheet calculates the the minimum take profit, and then from there, it also calculates the leverage in which I will only lose a set percentage of my portfolio. So again, I will make a Google Sheets you guys can copy for the calculator, and then you can basically add that, or you can use it, and yeah. Um, I don't see where the Trump trade is posted. It's in. It's in. Hold on. What's it called? Pro Analyst Langstrom Crypto Signals. Maybe I can. Despite being technically I'm young. I'm 21. Uh, I actually don't know my way around Discord that much, and I don't know if OC is still here. OC is still here. I literally asked him, how do I record a Discord stream? Um, uh, I don't know. Thank you, DagaDT, for helping out. I do appreciate it. Yeah. Um, yeah. I, I, I don't know. I don't know. I do feel old, even if I'm 21. I guess that's just, I don't know. I think it's probably just how I was raised, but yeah. Let's see. We actually got more people, so welcome to the show. I do see DB Cooper. Welcome back. And I'm sorry, your name's also contracted, so I can't welcome you. Oh, lovely. Good morning. Uh, it's still contracted, so I'm sorry. Um, the the user with the red Discord profile picture, Link and Soul Bouncy. Okay. Ooh, ooh, interesting. Did the Trump trade get hit? I think I think it's close. I feel like it could have hit on some exchanges right now. Um, I don't know if any of you guys took it, so let me know if it got hit. Because I mean, I'm in a Trump short, but I don't know if the trade got hit just yet. Uh, but yeah, not yet. Okay, so again, possibly we continue to push to the upside, but I trust the. Oh shoot! Don't want to edit that. But I do trust the projection here because this sort of falls in line with my thesis. But I don't think it's gonna drop to 6. Possibly it drops to 6, but I'd say 6.6. Trump 7.31. But let me double check what I posted. But I think now it got hit. Let's see. My call, and I have to use a separate device. Was 7.38. So it's technically like up here. So it hasn't been hit yet, and we're basically entering on the trend line created by the symmetrical triangle on the 1 hour. Yeah, yeah. And then my stop loss was 6.38, so it's a little higher. I should have fixed this a little bit more, but yeah. Um, let's see here. Yeah, thank you, Little Fish, and thank you, DagaDT, for helping out. Really do appreciate it. So yeah, what's this? Going back to Solana, um, Dash, Solana. Solana. Interesting. Okay. So with Solana right now, again, I think we continue to go down because overall sentiment, uh, as well as the fact we're still unsure. So I guess to give you guys a little bit more perspective on what I was saying at the start of the live, I am an economics undergrad, so I'm taking economics right now as my bachelor's degree, and I do want to go to law school after and basically go for corporate or tax law, but that's besides the point. The point is, right now in our class, we're talking about banking and essentially how banks work. So I can shed a little bit more light on what's happening right now. So the the thing about the U.S. Fed is that it operates dual mandate. So it's not just about controlling inflation; it's about essentially creating jobs as well. It's output targeting. Whereas sort of the central bank of Japan or the central bank of Europe or where I'm from, the Philippines, BSP, uh, they're all inflation targeting. So they only target inflation. They don't care about output, right? They don't care about job creation. Focus solely on keeping inflation down. The U.S. kind of it's basically giving itself a very hard time because if you lower inflation, you basically um, the U.S. or the Feds aren't sure if that'll create jobs. Theoretically, it will, but what they're seeing is that businesses aren't opening new jobs; they're just now adding AI to help with the existing workforce. And for businesses, you can't blame them because adding AI and bolstering your workforce, reducing turnover, it's a good money prop. Why open new jobs and have to pay um, minimum wage when you can just add AI for a fraction of the cost, and then now you're improving the skills of your current workforce, and that makes them more loyal. So can't blame businesses. So that's why they're not keen on just cutting rates and seeing what happens, right? Whereas if they focus on outputs, suddenly inflation spikes over 3%, and then everyone just stops buying or doing anything. So it's in this very difficult position. And that's the thing that Powell can't say, or I don't know why he can't say it or why he doesn't say that in layman's term, but that's essentially the position the U.S. is in. And the government shutdown is creating more chaos and volatility. So essentially, what we're going to get this month and next month is just going to be news. All of this will be news driven, and we're using our lovely chart prime. Oh, jelly, jelly. All right, let's go back to jelly, jelly. Woo. And we're using our lovely chart prime indicators to give us that edge because genuinely, no one knows what's gonna happen. I don't know. OC doesn't know. None of the master traders really know. But we're giving ourselves that edge based on the sentiment that the market has reflected on these candles and essentially mathematics, right? And yeah, so it did hit our alert and it got rejected, but we're not getting that push yet to the upper extremities. So I'm one of the furloughed federal workers sitting at home waiting for damn, damn. Yeah, and what sucks is you don't know if you're getting paid, right? Like when you were working and the government shut down, you don't know if you were getting paid for the hours that you basically rendered. Oh, all right, lovely. Okay, that's good. You should get paid. Thank you for working. And actually, my dad's I might be in the Philippines, but my dad was an American citizen or is. It's weird because my dad passed away, but he was an American citizen when he was still alive. So technically, yeah, that's also why I consider the U.S. My home as well to an extent, because well, I'm at home. But anyways, Schlong setup going well. Sorry, just proud because I suck. No, honestly, congratulations. Like, celebrate your wins. We're not here to basically envy your wins, and we're not here to shame your losses. And if you're winning, I'm happy. I'm sure everyone here is happy. And even if you're sort of going against the thesis, it's fine, right? We're all here to learn. We're here to celebrate each other's wins. Be there whenever we lose, and yeah, congratulations. Thank you. It was, how long has it been? So it was yeah, 6 months ago. Yeah, but yeah, life moves on. I'm the only son, so gotta work. But yeah, let's see. Um, okay, Jelly Jelly is continuing to push up. So I would put another alert sort of at the upper bound here and see what happens. Cuz genuinely with these things, it's just, I mean, just look at that. It dumped like that, went down, 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 and just giga pumped. So I'd put alerts at where it, well, at the earliest it could give us, right? So here and here, and see what happens. It's possible this continues to fly, very possible, but overall, we're gonna see. So Jelly Jelly doesn't look like that great of a short right now, as well. Initially, I thought it would be, but I guess not. Not at the moment. ICP, sort of doing the same thing, and again, I didn't endorse this trade fully, but had you taken it, you would have been close to the entry. There would have been a rejection, but the 30 minutes still looks like it's heading up. So just be careful if you took this trade. Again, I'm not endorsing this trade. It's just an idea. But had you taken it, and you could be up right now. Yeah. Wish I knew how to catch these shitcoins. Genuinely, I don't know how people have a talent for shitcoins. I'm more of a top 50, top 100. Top 100 is kind of
Yeah,
pushing.
what's up?
Oh, OC?
Yeah.
You? Hey, OC.
Oh, sorry. I double thing my microphone. Sorry. One
Oh,
second.
it's okay. No worries. But yeah, I'm more of a top 75 maybe coins kind of guy. I kind of don't like trading shit coins because that's a bit too volatile for me. Like my strategy it doesn't bode well or doesn't fare well with shit coins, unfortunately. Yeah, I know there are some really talented people who just get in, like they hear something, they get in, and then they make a ton. And some make it a strategy. I don't have the flexibility for that, so we got to work with our strengths, our weaknesses, because we're all different. So, I mean, I'm describing my strategy to you guys. I'll also make a tool like a calculator, and I'll add crypto signal it. Later, I'll actually create it right after the show so that you guys can start using it already. But genuinely, um, yeah, I'm not really that good with shitcoins. I catch one today. Bad. Nice. Damn. Ah. Really? Jelly? Oh, what the Okay. Sorry. There might be, I'm sure, I don't think there are any 12-year-olds here, right? I think we're mostly all adults. I think, right? Hopefully. Hopefully we're mostly all adults. I'm 5. All right. Gotta watch my language then. I'm sorry. Although you were 16 and you're currently 5, so you down aged. You aged backwards. But let's see who else is in the audience. Hi Fritz. I think this is the first time I'm ever speaking to you, but welcome to the show. I'm Langstrom. And yeah, thank you for dropping by. Let's see who else is here. I think we still got the same audience. So
Landstrom, I'm gonna head out to the next show. But I'll let you with alumni. Thank you very much for hosting me today, and
of
I guess
course.
I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, OC. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, brother. See you tomorrow.
But yeah. Got it. All right. But 12-year-olds nowadays swear word. Yeah, I've noticed. I don't know what it is. Preteens and teenagers these days, kind of crazy. Uh, but it's it's still, how do I say this? It's still a good rule of thumb to act a certain way with kids. You know, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Looks like we are reversing up. It does, yeah. Oh, okay, so we got hit on the Trump trade. Now I'm hoping that the stop loss isn't too tight. Granted, we do have that resistance here, so I'm hoping that the resistance keeps us, but possibly, right? And anything is possible. Uh, let's see what it looks like on the lower time frames. Let's go here and go to Trump. Yeah, they do. They do. Okay, so we do have a bit more resistance. We're reaching equilibrium, and we're gonna hit the dynamic reactor as well. 12 hours still wants to go down. We're about to cross the zero line on it. Momentum's bearish. Let's see here. Let's go to the 1 hour. 5 minutes is overbought, but it is pushing up, right? It is pushing up, and apparently our SMA didn't load, so I'm gonna press that again. Um, let's see. We are overbought, so that is a good sign, and we are in the premium zone on the 5 minutes. And again, this was sort of my attempt at a semi scalp. Semi scalp. Did I announce it as a semi scalp or a semi swing? Semi scalp. So essentially, the reason I said semi was because I think it might take a while for us to get to the entry, not entry, the take profit, but the stop loss I treated more like a scalp. It's kind of tall. Wait, no, it's treated more like a swing because it's kind of wide. Um, of course, if you guys, and it's also good if you guys do your own due diligence. You could have placed your stop loss a little higher, like 7.891 or above previous day high, but I thought that in terms of the stop, oh no, the stop loss is treated like a scalp, but the take profit is treated like a swing. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. A bit of a fumble there. But yeah, so we're watching this and we're hitting premium. There's resistance, um, equilibrium on the 30 minutes as well. So we're seeing if this can hold, or essentially if we've got enough resistance to push this down. Overbought on the 5 minutes. Those yellow race car tracks didn't feel good either. I don't know what you guys are getting hit with, or race car tracks. But yeah. Anyways, let's see. Oh, Hex Mode on. Welcome to the show. It's been a while. Thank you for dropping by. And I think we still got generally the same audience. So, lovely. But yeah, if you guys have any coins you want me to look at, questions about my strategy or how I trade, please let me know. And ever since Digital LRS showed me this MA ribbon trick, I do want to show how to add it for those who use the MVP ribbon, since it's been a real godsend. So essentially, we just go here, we click these three dots, we add indicator strategy on Prime Oscillators Pro, we look for the MA I think it's called moving averages ribbon, just the standard one. So moving average ribbon right here. We go here. We turn these off. We just need one MA, and I'm using the SMA. I prefer that, and my favorite color is white, so I'm gonna go with white. I'm gonna make the line a little thicker as well, so it's easier to see. Go back to inputs, change this to 144, and then for you guys it might be direct, or you guys probably won't see this, but for me it's all the way here. Just scroll to the bottom, right, and pick the second to last, this one right here, and then press OK, and there you go. Nice. Thank you, DT. And looks like we have another person coming in. Um, Lou FX, welcome. Again, I think this is the first time we're meeting. I'm Langstrom, so thank you for dropping by. We also, oh, V just left, but yeah. Again, thank you guys for dropping by. This is my fourth show with Chart Prime, so again, I'm loving the community. I'm loving interacting with you guys, and yeah, I'm an open book. So you want to talk about anything, ask me any questions, how I trade, what's my strategy, what coins am I looking at, just let me know. What is 144? So it's essentially the number of periods or candles it's looking at. So 144 is like the 144 moving average. So it's, if you place it on like the chart here, that would mean that it's looking for the average of the past 144 candles. But since we're putting it here on our oscillator, it's looking at it from like 144 periods. So this would be one period, one period, one period, and it's looking back at it. Yes, so I do have my own signals channel, so I think you just have to add it because I'm brand new to the team, uh, and they gave me my channel I think just last weekend, rather the weekend. Yeah, last weekend. No, is it this weekend? Last week? A couple days ago. So they gave me my channel a couple days ago, so it's probably not showing up unless you specifically add it. How to add it? Oh, reason for 144. So digital LRS, when he showed it to me, he chose 144. I wasn't able to ask for the rationale, but based on what I suspect is that it basically tries to emulate the zero line as much as possible. Since what we're doing here is we want some sort of support and resistance, a line of support and resistance for the MA ribbon. So you can see Trump's maybe not the best case, but you can sort of see how when we touch this ribbon, we kind of bounced off of it. I'm gonna look for a better example. Oh, something like this, right? We touch the ribbon, we bounce down, so we're still bearish. We touch the ribbon, bounce down, bearish. We get above it, and we try to retest it, and then we bounce up. So, and you can see it's close enough to the zero line that it sort of acts as your dynamic zero line to really confirm if you are overall in a, if you, overall you've got bullish momentum or overall bearish momentum. Why 144? Not sure about the number, but based on my testing, that's what I've been able to sort of garner from the choice. And it's pretty smooth. So it's the same thing here with the 1 hour, right? It's 144, and it's pretty darn good. You can see, like if I go here to this right here, right, we got above it, great, and we continued to push. We got to test it right here, and we started slowly falling off. And the moment we fell off of it, we just puked, right? And same thing here. We got above it, nice. We retested it, we failed, we puked. So far it's been pretty great. And here again, we're back to testing it. And again, if we get above it then puke, then 100% we're dropping, right? If we get a rejection right now, we're puking, right? But because the zero line, or this fluid zero line, is sort of towards the bottom, that's also telling you there's not that much range left. So again, what I love about the MVP ribbon compared to say MACD is you get to see how far or how much extension you've got left on momentum, right? It's not really clear on the MACD. You get direction and sort of magnitude, but not really how much momentum there is left. And I love the MVP ribbon for that. You can see that, and now you've got a way to basically test the strength of that ribbon if it gets rejected or it gets above it. What is the criteria for coin using 144 BTC altcoin Ucoin high low volume? Again, I'm not entirely sure. But generally what I look for is just a ton of confluence, right? I'm looking for as much confluence as I can get when I take a short or a long. So whether that's this overbought signal on the 5 minutes, you got this multiple bullish div right here, you take that long. But here, right, we're in the middle of a move, so I kind of don't want to, and I'm looking for that short in as sort of the overall time frame. Could you write down the settings? I'm in car. Absolutely, TechWatch. I think DagaDT got it written down. So props again to DagaDT. Genuinely, oopsie, that is my alarm. Uh, yeah, you guys don't get to hear it on the normal live because in the normal live there's no daylight savings. So I actually start 9 p.m. where I'm at, but right now I'm starting 10 p.m. So I start an hour later. But yeah, let me see where DagaDT sent it. Uh, du- 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 du. uh where did DagaDT send it? Mhm. Here, right here. So I will also forward it to this chat. Uh, right here. Oopsie. Right here at TechWatch. So just look for that notif later and you will find it. Yeah. What time frame do you use the MA trick the most on? I like it on higher time frames personally. So right when I trade, I look at lower time frame for entry and potential movements still, and then higher time frame for confluence and general direction and bias. So I like it better on the bias um, rather than the entry itself. But I don't ignore it. I don't ignore it. Have you also added a zero line on MVP with it? Um, no, I have not. So my zero line's kind of just empty and blank on it, but I like the moving average. I treat that more as my zero line now rather than the zero line itself. Yeah. All right. Let's see who else is in the show. Yeah. All right. OC's back. So. Would you enter a short on ETH right now based on the confluence? Why or why not? I love how. Sorry, I just came from school earlier, so uh, it's a very essay type answer. Um, Based on the confluences on the 5 minute, interesting. Um, let's see. Maybe not a scalp on ETH, I would say, but I would short ETH. Yeah, I'd short ETH. The reason I wouldn't do it right now is because unlike say Solana and Trump, right, ETH is somehow, in my opinion, showing weird signs. And what I mean by that is, um, Solana clearly bounced, right? It got a very clear bounce, lots of bullish divs. ETH hasn't yet, but it's starting to bottom out on the 4 hour, right? Let's do 1 to 1, so 1 hour, just to see. Right. Oh, okay, so it did get multiple bullish divs. Okay. Um, but I guess my main concern with Ethereum over Solana is just because if Bitcoin's dying, the coin I'm expecting to sort of bounce or show a bit more strength is Ethereum. So I would short ETH based on like the 5 minutes showing me that overbought, downward reversal. I mean, this is 3 points of confluence. You got your overbought, reversal, red twist in the ribbon. You're overextended on your MVP ribbon, right? Based on just the 5 minutes, I would enter a short, but I'm a little skeptical just because of the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and general. I don't want to say it's superstition, but I guess logic. Because if BTC's dying, ETH could be dying, but I expect ETH to bounce first. Does that make sense? Yeah. Are you using SMA as adaptive zero line? Can you show and histogram once again? I was joining late. Yeah, so I'm using the SMA, this white line, as your adaptive zero line. It's a dynamic zero line. Can I show MVP ribbon and histogram? Sorry, what do you mean by histogram? I'm not. Do you mean like MACD or this is just the um just the regular settings for the MVP oscillator. Yeah. Um, yeah. So yeah, these are just normal settings. The green bar. So this also comes included on the MVP ribbon. The moment you have it, it's just set. And essentially these are bottoming bars. And Chart Prime just I don't know how they do it. I'm not a computer science major or a nerd. But you know what? The guy who made this, he's like a very, very cool nerd. And they should take that as a compliment. But essentially, it just shows you that the move is sort of exhausting and it's sort of bottoming. So you can see here on the 5 minutes, you got those bottoming bars, right? And when you got those bottoming bars, price did settle, even failed to break the zero line and sort of bounced. Yeah. Yeah. That, yeah. Thank you, Hex Mode. What days a week do you trade live on Sharp Prime? Thank you for enjoying. I mean, I do try to make this as enjoyable as possible. There are times where it's sort of quiet because, like, I think last week there's no movement. There's it's just dead. But I trade live on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, same time. So tomorrow I'll be back at I believe it's 9 a.m. for you guys in the U.S. But Malik's from the U.K. So I'll be back 2 p.m. And then when the daylight savings people in the US are all good, they go back to normal, it'll be 1 p.m. for you. Yeah. So 2 p.m. and then when daylight savings is over, it's 1 p.m. on Tuesdays, Wednesdays. Thank you, OC. I do appreciate it. So yeah, let's look back at how Trump's doing right here. So it is pushing back up a bit, and initially we got that we're in drawdown basically, and we got the push to the downside earlier. So we'll just have to see how this closes. Excuse me. But we are retesting that premium zone and a previous day high as well. We got resistance as well to help us with our stop loss, and as well as the 1R dynamic reactor. So we are getting a bounce, but essentially if you guys took any of the trades I call, just be sure to only use 1%. I'm very adamant about that, because if you can use any amount you want, right? But as much as possible, we don't want to kill ourselves, because, and what I mean by that is, if you treat your portfolio like an HP bar in a game, right, you can take as much damage as you want, right, if you can hit the opponent, but you gotta outlast the opponent, and you gotta be strategic, because the more HP you lose, the riskier and riskier the fight goes on, and it's going to be a prolonged fight, right? This is war, as if you guys read The Art of War. Actually, I think I have it somewhere here. Where's that book? Damn it. Oh, right here. Yeah. So I'm actually reading The Art of War right now. So we gotta treat trading as if it was war, and we gotta take strategic losses and we have to make sure our wins are based on strategy all the time. And we don't want our portfolio to get so thin that it becomes almost impossible to regain our losses. So minimize your losses, maximize your gains. That's just the smart thing to do. It's the right thing to do, and just trade smart. You can be greedy, right? You can wait for your stop. You can hold on to something if you're in the green and just wait it out until it reaches your final TP. You can be greedy. Just make sure that when you are in the green that you take proper risk management. Is this recorded for later viewing? Yeah, it is. So I'll lower the file size and then send it over to OC, then OC will post it. Would you say strategies such as unicorn entries work just as well as crypto TA as they do on stocks? I don't know. So I think with stocks it might be easier. And my thesis for that is, with stocks you can investigate everything. You can investigate the company, you can investigate what it's doing different from other people in that sector, and essentially you can really investigate and check it out. Whereas with crypto, even if it is on the blockchain and it is technically transparent, it's sometimes difficult to get everything behind the team, the narrative, and whatnot. So I think the unicorn entries on crypto is definitely bigger. I've seen people with unicorn entries put like $10 and walk out with $300,000. Right? That's usually greater than stocks. I think tit for tat crypto unicorn entries will be larger, but I think it's harder. It's definitely more of luck than it is potentially strategy. Yeah. And I mean, if we get lucky, that's great, but we want to build sustainable strategies. So if my strategy fails here, then well, well, what we'll just have to suck up the loss and continue moving forward. At least we took a strategic loss or risk. But if it continues and hits our take profit, then great. We made money. Yeah. All right. Let's see who else is in the audience. Welcome, Yolan, and I'm sorry. I really don't know why my Discord does it. I don't know if it's because of my monitor or if it's because of me having Discord shrunk, but the name's contracted, and I'm sorry. Your username starts with S. You've got a bunny for a profile picture, but welcome to the show. I'm Langstrom, and if you have any questions or anything you'd like to ask, just let me know. I'm an open book, and I'd love to talk. Yeah, yeah, you can get lucky. There are only 23 million high esteemed pieces of technology. That's one way to put it. Um, yeah. I mean, I'm sure the first person to buy Tesla stocks, I forgot. Dude got lucky. No, I mean, although right now Tesla's it's kind of in a rough patch, I would say. Maybe not stocks wise, but optics wise, it's kind of in a rough patch. Okay. Okay, let's see here. But yeah, we still got 30 minutes on the show. So, how long it takes you to start understanding and reading in different to make a setup? Uh, how long did it take me? Um, Generally, I think there isn't a right answer. At least for me, it took me like 4 months to figure out how to really maximize chart prime indicators. Again, for some people that might be faster. For me, it took 4 months, and the reason it took 4 months was because I was just back testing and back testing. I'm not sure if I still have it. Um, Traylog test. Is it testing ground? Test. Maybe test. Let me check out test. What happened? I think it's here. Was it here? Oh yeah, I think it's here. But I have to go all the way back. All the way back. Cuz okay, yeah. So, you can see I was back testing here, and essentially I was just using the CPO plus, and I was looking for at least 3 points of confluence. So, for example, when I back tested here, I saw peak seeker and this thing, so I entered right here. Drawdown, perfect entry. Excuse me, 1 to 2, and then I realized later on that the MVP ribbon was better than the chart prime logarithmic linear regression oscillator, but this is a great oscillator if you don't want to use the MVP ribbon. So I was just back testing, and you can see let's see, it goes all the way back. This is ancient. But yeah, I was back testing. It took me 4 months to basically get a hang of it. And when it comes to developing your strategy, take your time. You can try to copy someone's strategy, but if you don't have that sort of intuitive gut for it, as well as that analytic side of it, it's gonna be difficult. So take your time with developing your strategy and figure out what works for you. And you'll know when, or rather, you'll know when it is working for you when you can confidently say, this is the trade, this is the entry, this is stop loss. I'll just let it run, see what happens, and then you come back later in the duration and you've got it. And then you do that every single time. You trade zero emotions, right? You can say, "Oh, maybe I'm wrong," right? You can say that. It's fine. Maybe I'm wrong, but you can always back it up with, I followed my strategy and I'm sticking to it. I'm not second guessing anything when I enter this trade. Like for the Trump trade, right here, right? It's kind of screwing me over. But as much as possible, I set this up with confidence that my strategy would work. Maybe it was a bit too early, but I set this up with the idea that it would it would make gains, and my stop loss is above excellent points of resistance on the 1 hour. I knew we were gonna retest here, so I entered here. It's doing some drawdown, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not, but zero emotions. I'm not stopping the trade just because it looks like I'm losing, right? This is 50% drawdown relative to the stop loss. So 3.71% stop loss, right? Almost 2%. So again, might lose, I might be wrong, and that's okay. No one gets it 100%. Anyone that says they have 100% win rate is lying. They're lying. In scalping, what is the percent amount of profit you aim? Do you layer your entries? Okay, so answering Malik's first question, I aim for a 1 to 2 risk to reward. So for example, on this trade, I'm risking technically 3.44%. So I'm aiming for at least a 7% move to the downside. So the same thing with scalping, right? If I'm aiming for, if my stop loss is 1%, you should be aiming for at least 2%. Right? If stop loss is 1% above price, aim for 2%. Yeah. Thank you, Ozzy. And I think, well, historically my win rate has been 78.7%. It's high. I'm sure some of the master traders here probably have a higher win rate. I'd say maybe Runer. I respect Runer a ton. When I was starting out, I looked up to Runer, and the way that he describes or analyzes, love it. And you can see that our trading styles are different now because it took me a while to develop, but I'm not trying to copy anyone. I'm trying to see what works for me and share those entries and analyses with you guys. And essentially, yeah, other traders are likely to have or could have a higher rate than me. But what I will always pride myself on is always championing risk management and being smart and practical with how you trade, because some people, like for example myself, I trade so I can eat. So when my dad passed away, I sort of told my mom, I don't want allowance anymore, don't worry about me, I will feed myself, you don't have to worry. So if I lose, I don't get to eat, and so I got to keep those gains enough so I can eat and basically do whatever, not have my mom worry at all. And yeah, for some of us, right, some of us already have families, we got children, we got wives, and we might even have a husband. I'm sure there are female traders, right? Although statistically, okay, I'll stop with the statistics. It's such a economics major of me. But anyways, the point is, don't let your HP die, right? Don't lose the game, because this is a game. At the end of the day, trading is a game, and so it's war. So don't die, because if you die, it's done, right? Don't put yourself in a position where you would essentially put yourself in a state where you'll be anxious, where you'll be scared. You got to take control of your trading And if you lose, accept that, right? Figure out what went wrong and improve on the next one. Yeah. I do 1 to 2. You can do 1 to 3. It's cool. Yeah. Thank you, Dagatiti. I do appreciate it. Do you layer your entries? Sometimes yes. So when I see potential, I will layer my entries. So I think I have an example. Mm, might be on BTC. Frick, I'm not sure. Um, wait. Let me double check. I'll just give me a sec. I'll stop sharing screen. Just one quick sec, because I have way too. I think I have way too many tabs, so I kind of lose some of it sometimes. Um, BTC. You guys will see the. I think one thing that Chart Prime taught me was to make sure that your charts look nice when you show people, because when they brought me on the team, they said we love the way you analyze, we love everything, but your charts look like. They were being nice when they said we don't like the way your charts look. It's a little confusing, but I know deep down they were like it looks like dog water, and right now it kind of looks like Fruit Loops. So, um, okay. Let's see. Do I still? When was Bitcoin at? When was it at 116? I think I have it here, somewhere. It's not April, is it? Yeah, it's so hard to tell. I don't know where it is anymore. Maybe it's. Mm, maybe it's here. Hold on. Just. I got very curious about. Okay, maybe it is here. Yeah, okay. Perfect. Alright, so. Uh, Let me load the chart in. And this was before I went to Blowfin. So right now I trade on Blowfin and BTCC. Uh, but I used to trade on Mexi. And the reason I don't trade on Mexi now is because I don't know, it's kind of sketchy. If you look at the blockchain data on Mexi, they've been like losing Bitcoin reserves. And so I'm scared that this will be the next FTX. So if you guys are Mexi, I'm not saying you should leave. I'm just saying like do your research, because it's kind of scary if I'm being honest on Mexi right now. So let me just change this to 12 hours and then do this. Yeah, see what I mean? Kind of looks like dog water a little bit, but I do layer my entries. So for this one, right, I took a long at 108,541, a zero drawdown. It got up all the way, and then I thought, or I was trying to do something that OC was doing, which is like the hedge against the long, right? Take a short, because I saw this was dumping, so I was like, okay, I'll take a short. So I took a short, and then it started going back up, and you can see it sort of hit my stop loss. But rather than closing then and there and losing the money, I said, okay, generally, because of the 1 week, I think we're going to continue heading down. So I will remove my stop loss. And because I only use 1% of my portfolio, even if it runs to 150, I'll be safe. And I know that I'll be safe. I think my liquidation was like 200. Yeah, I think it was 200 at the time. So I said to myself, okay, I'll remove the stop loss first. And then I'll re-enter at, where was this, 123. And then I put another stop loss. And then from there, I got my long, so we're good. I was in drawdown, and then I was like, okay, if worst comes to worst, I'll DCA back in. But right now, I didn't want to DCA, so yeah. And then, of course, things suddenly went my way. I got to my final take profit at 116, and I was like, woo, hooray. And then I was like, let me long here. And I got decimated by the dump. So I do layer my entries, and if you see potential, right, that's your prerogative. If you see potential, DCA in, but that's why I always preface that always use 1%, because it lets you have the option to DCA when needed. So yeah, let's see who else is in the show. I believe that's Russian, and I can't speak Russian. Uh, so welcome. Thank you for dropping by. I'm Langstrom. You're a new face, so if you have any questions, just let me know. I love interacting with you guys. Let's see. Start. Yeah, Little Fish. Great advice. Start at 1 to 1.5. It's great. Charts look like Kaka too. Are there videos for how to set up our charts? Right now I'm not sure if there are. I can make one. I can make one. So if you guys are interested in that, just let me know. Um, okay, Daga DT, important classes. Please tell a little more about Mexi and show us what you're seeing. And a bit worried now. Your screen is flickering. Oh, so um, let me just gather the data, or let me just. I'll do it. Okay, I'll leave the chart open, and then I'll just quickly pull up Google, and we can look at it together because yeah, we still have 25 minutes. I think we can. Let's see. Uh. Okay, so before I show the blockchain data, I did find this article right away. Uh, boop, 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 boop. So let's see here. So essentially, Mexi exchange incident undermines trust, raises alarm. Essentially, this might have been the blockchain data I saw where they were freezing those funds. But yeah, but this was yeah, Bitcoin withdrawals rose to staggering 1450 BTC daily. So that's why I was alarmed initially, and that's why I transferred over to BTCC and uh, what's this? And Blowfin. It's possible, right? This is just completely an oopsie on there and an honest oopsie. And you know, sometimes it happens, right? There are honest oopsies out there. Uh, we can't really take it against them. But the thing is, this is a crypto exchange and one that essentially offers zero fees on a lot of trades, and you can leave position trades in there. But this is kind of odd, essentially. Yeah. Don't have every yeah exactly. Don't have everything on one exchange. Um, you have them on a few, right? Just in case something like this happens. But yeah, let me go through the on-chain data right now, if I can still find it. You know, honestly, so many transactions in a day. Hmm. But yeah. Mm, let's see. Where is it? Give frick my browser history. I withdrew. Yeah. Oh, actually, another thing is technically my first name is also Alex. So when you said Alex, I kind of got kind of got confused there for a second. Um, yeah. Oh, Alex O Crypto. Yeah. Actually, it's kind of funny because the CEO is also Alex, and I'm Alex, and Gecko is also Alex. So it's like four Alexes, including myself. So I gotta keep track of that. Yeah, exactly. Oh gosh. Okay. All right. Let's see. What did I see? Come on. My PC's crazy. All right. Come on. Why is my PC so slow? I just got it. I just got it fixed. Uh, oh my goodness. I don't know if it's. Now Google's not responding. Uh, might be my Wi-Fi. Okay. All right. So, oh my goodness, it's so slow. But okay. So I'm on Arkham. Oh, really? My webcam's also. Yeah, I don't know. Um, I will probably invest in a better setup because going into Chart Prime, I wasn't expecting that they would give me the awesome responsibility of going live. So technically, I got my webcam, my mic, and my PC based on simply just online classes, not hosting anything. But you know, when an opportunity comes your way, you take it, and when you can help people as well, you take it. Like, don't. I mean, you can. Of course, you can choose not to, but why wouldn't you? It's a great opportunity. So essentially, I'm on Arkham, and you can see their balances kind of just dropping over the past week, right? Again, this happens for exchanges. It's just a little bit alarming that we went from above almost above $5 billion, right, and we're just dropping to 4.5. It's a little alarming, right? Just a little bit, just a little alarming. But it doesn't bode well that Mexi was just freezing some BTC and the outflows are interesting, right? And your token balance just drop like crazy, right? And this is you can choose. So this is I'm sorry, you guys. It's really slow. Let's go with BTC, right? If my keyboard registered it. So yeah, again, I also invite you guys use Arkham when you can and look at your exchanges, and you can basically see which ones might be a little problematic, might be a little sketchy, right? I use Mexi for better part of um, the better part of 3 years. So obviously, I love Mexi, but then when I noticed the big drops in balances, I was just freaked out a little bit. And if you're not freaked out by it, that's cool. I just implore you maybe to be a bit more skeptical of the exchanges because technically, as much as they try to be your friends, at the end of the day, they're really not your friends. Like exchanges at the end also have to make money, right? And that's fine. All businesses have to make money. It's just that some exchanges are more I'd say some exchanges are more devious than others. So yeah, check out Arkham, check out Mexi, or check out your exchange, and make what you will with the data as well. So yeah, let me go back, stop screaming, go back to the charts, and see how we're doing because that is what the live is for, and we've only got 15 minutes left. So, as much as possible, I want to maximize the time on the charts. Um, I see. Yeah, recording. Okay, that's true. I am using like, oh, shoot, what's it called? OBS. So that's probably it. Yeah, interesting. Interesting. But yeah, look at MX token. Absolutely. Looks like Trump is also doing pretty good now. We're back at entry. So, and if we close like this with a top wick like that, that's pretty bearish. That's like a nice bearish reversal for a traditional candle structure if you guys trade price action. And when you got these tools, you just supplement them with what you know and what you have, and make a strategy for yourself, right? I don't think any of the coaches here will impose that you use a specific strategy, right? It's all about figuring out what it is or what strategy works for you, how you use those indicators, and just using the best. And we're all here because chart prime is the best. Like, no one's arguing that chart prime's the best. MX. Is it this one? MX USDT? I guess it doesn't have perpetuals, so it's just spot. Okay. All right. Yeah. So it's just spot. Okay. So MX on the 5 minutes bearish div, 1 hour we've got multiple bullish divs with your peak seeker, another signal to push up. So I think MX is kind of in this. Well, it's kind of following what Bitcoin's doing right now. We did get technically. This is such a terrible bullish cross with the dynamic reactor above the quantum reactor. But generally, if you're doing a spot buy, I would wait for it to go down even more. I think you get rejected here, honestly. So again, this is pure speculation. We don't know what's gonna happen, right? But I would say that we go back down like this, and we go for this FVG. So one of the things I do trade a lot are the FVGs, because they're gaps in liquidity, and you always want, and market makers like sort of exploring that. Actually, no, market makers don't explore FVGs. What does explore FVG is actually the algorithm of the exchange or the market itself, because the market aims to give you such a fair price that when it has these huge imbalances, it wants to go back down. It's not necessarily because market makers need the liquidity, because if that's the case, they would go for your stop loss. So what makes the bounce on the FVG is pure algorithm. And because of that, FVGs are great places if there's little volume, if there's a lot of money flow, but sort of okay, maybe little volume. FVGs are basically a 100. Okay, maybe there's nothing 100%. It's basically a 99% bounce. So, yeah. Yeah. But I think you'll get the hang of it, DB. So is $2 a good price? Yeah, I would say $2 is a good price. If it goes back to $2, absolutely, that is a great price for MX. Possible that it goes much lower. I mean, I was looking at it on somewhat low time frame. So if I look at it maybe on a larger 4 hours, I would say $2 is a great price. It doesn't seem like in its history it's revisited this price ever since June. So yeah, I'd say $2 is a good price if we get there, and if you're willing to wait. On both charts, it's discount around 2. Perfect. Hey Langstrom, how are you? Cool to meet you. Thanks for your help. It looks like you're going. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm with you guys twice a week, 2 hours. So today and tomorrow. For the U.S., that is, New York time, Washington time, that is 9 a.m. For those guys in the UK, it's gonna be 2 p.m. And then when daylight savings is over, it's back to like 1 p.m. for the UK, still 9 a.m. for the US, and 9 p.m. for me. So yeah, actually, if OC didn't tell me or didn't remind me that the US had daylight savings, I would be an hour early, and people and the market would not have opened. Yeah, it's weird because we don't have that here in the Philippines. So I don't know if you guys have it where you're from. I know there are a lot of people, and basically we're a worldwide community or international community. I'm not sure if you guys have daylight savings, but we don't. So it makes things easier. It's always just same time every time of year. Yeah. But yeah, thank you for the kind words, stock scalping samurai. I do remember you from the Alex Crypto and OC um, meeting where OC also gave me a shout out. So thank you so much for the kind words and dropping by. I really do appreciate it. So yeah, Gur's also here. Welcome, Gur. Um, Saints is here. So, oh yeah, Saints. I think I saw your message request. Now, based on my, based on what I do know from my contract, I'm not technically allowed to PM or like private message. So, yeah. If ever you ever have questions again, just tag me in general, and hopefully I'll see it. I mean, I'm also, am I always on my phone? I'm maybe on my phone 14 hours a day, looking at charts, also doing some calls and reading for school. So yeah. Thank you, Gert. Thank you for the kind words. I'd like to move to Thailand or the Philippines. Looking forward to it. Nice, nice. Yeah. Right now, if I'm being honest, I think a lot of locals, every local says this about their country. Move to Thailand. Don't move to the Philippines. Uh, I'm not saying that to like bash my. I love my country. It's just corruption's crazy. You're gonna get more benefits from Thailand, for sure. Healthcare is better there. Uh, I will say I would have to say that our beaches 100% better, and in terms of maybe the capital, I'd argue that places like Makati or Taguig here in the Philippines, way more productive and closer to Europe than some of the cities in Thailand. But overall, I'd say Thailand's a better place to go. But you know, if you like beaches, you really can't beat the Philippines. And if you like our food, if you have a more sweet palate, you really can't beat the Philippines. Our food's awesome. So yeah, Manny Pacquiao, the Pac-Man. Yeah, love Manny. I don't know if you guys are into boxing, but Gen- Manny Pacquiao's crazy because back like a decade ago, whenever he's having a fight, crime rate drops like 50 or 60% because everyone's just tuning into the guy, like crazy guy. And even now he's like 40. He's just, again, I find it funny because he's a senator, or he was a senator. So imagine an 8th division world champion boxer becomes a senator. And what's funny is he didn't even have like a university degree when he became a senator. He studied while being a senator. So you can see why our politics here in the Philippines kind of messy, but we're not let's not really delve into that. No, politics is a very touchy thing. So let's deal with facts, which is economics. So yeah. But yeah, he is, lots of Filipinos love basketball. But okay. Okay. Let's go back to the Trump trade, which is the one that we were looking at mostly tonight, right? And there was technically the ICP one, but I can't give my formal endorsement for it just because I'm not. Oh, perfect. So we are in profits now. So for anyone who took the trade, congratulations if you joined me on the trade. Potentially we do see a bounce from the FVG, right? It could go something like this, but because we have this wick to the top side with your most traded price being on the upper side of these candles, I'm quite confident that it's just gonna belly flop to the downside. And that's one thing. So another thing I have is these lines tell me the most traded price on the candle. And typically, when they're higher up, that means people were uh, FOMO longing right here, and so that gives me a sign that potentially we could a good short, and it also gives me a point of reference. So I entered here because maybe let's go back to the 5 minutes and let me delete these drawings because these will look abysmal on the 5 minutes when we're there. Let's go back to the 5 minutes, 1 hour. And the reason I placed the entry there was because if we zoom back on the 1 hour, sorry, the 1 hour chart, most traded price on a candle where we reversed was here, and that's where I placed our entry because I saw okay, so it's on the trend line that we made on the symmetrical triangle. We've got that most traded price here, and we dumped after that. So it seemed like a good thing, and it lined up with where the premium zone was in the 5 minutes earlier. And you can see that yes, we had that drawdown, right? Because I'm sure a lot of maybe not a lot of people, but I'm sure quite a bit of people probably placed their stop loss right over here. They got hunted, and now we're back in profits. We're back in the green, and we'll see what happens. I don't know if I put a first TP there. I'm sure I did. I'm sure I did my due diligence. Okay, yeah, first TP at 7.07. So it's possible we don't get to first TP, right? Because 1 hour, but I'd like to bet we do if the 1 hour MVP ribbon rejects from this 144 SMA. So I think that we continue down, but in any case, right? We've proven that staying completely distant from emotions, right? You can be worried, it's fine, but don't close a trade because you're worried. Close it because it hit your stop loss. And your stop loss was your calculated and informed risk, right? Don't close a trade because you said, oh no, the market's pumping. Oh no, this coin's pumping. I gotta close. You're just making yourself worry. And it shows that the charts have the control over you when you guys had the agency to get chart prime indicators. You have the agency and the courage to trade. So stick to it. You got to believe in yourself when you trade. And so again, I was worried. You guys saw it live, and I said maybe I'm wrong, but we didn't close. We kept our stop loss, and now it's rewarding us. And maybe I'm wrong again. We pump up and I'll lose, and the people who joined lost. But thanks for trusting me, and believing in essentially the rationale that I had going in this trade. So let's look at the chat. ICP, yes. How is ICP doing? I'm not sure. Let's check up on ICP real quick. I still have a snakeskin pool stick I got in the pot. What is that? Oh, in the PH. Nice. Yeah. A lot of our artisans make cool things, and for very good price. It's just we're having difficulty with essentially making them competitive, right? Because a lot of stuff are handmade. So in terms of getting the the finest tolerances, I'd say we're not as good. But in terms of like the soul artistry, we're top notch. Yeah. Oh, okay. So perfect. So I remember when we started, we placed the signal around here on ICP. Like I said, put on alert right here. This is the sweet spot, and even though I couldn't fully endorse it, it technically did what I wanted it to do, where we got the trade right here, and now we're dumping. So yeah, again, I couldn't fully endorse it. My heart wasn't there, and I couldn't tell you guys to fully take it. But if you did, and you wrote it down, you took it, congratulations, you should be in profit. Let's see who else is here. T Sugar, welcome to the show. Although we're ending in 2 minutes, so forgive me if this is the first time we're meeting and the show is ending. But I'm Langstrom, and if you have any questions, feel free to tag me. And yeah, I'll try to answer all your questions as much as I can. We'll be back tomorrow, same time. So for the US, that's at 9 a.m. For those in the UK, that's going to be 2 p.m. And if you're from Southeast Asia or Hong Kong, that's 10 p.m. So it's always going to follow US EST 9 a.m. So we want to do it just right before NYC opens so that we get that nice volatility. We can really look at stuff. So yeah. All right, let's look at the chat. Thank you. What is a decent bounce zone for Sui? Thank you, DB Cooper. And let's look at it. One last thing. We got 1 minute. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, 1 minute for checking out Sui. Decent bounce zone. So, scalping wise, I can't tell you. Yeah, I was bullish on Sui, and I had a long on Sui, and then it got killed, from the 0.5 drop somewhere. I don't want to remember that, but if you're scalping, probably don't long Sui right now. I would probably look at the 1 day. Normal bullish div on Aster. Interesting. So it's already 12. But yeah, let's just finish this and end the show here, just so we end on a good note. So we are sort of in this weird range, right? Honestly, with this discount and buy zone being all the way at 0.5, it's hard to tell. Your bearish trend strength is weakening, but your momentum, though small, is bearish. So, genuinely, let's look at the 4 hour. Maybe the 4 hour can give us an idea. There's really not much to work with. I don't think Sui's going down to 0.5. It's possible, but I really doubt it. I would say a good bounce on maybe 1.6, but that's purely based on 1 day and not really fully extending the charts. But we can see on the 1 week that we're still headed down, right? So yeah, about 1.6, this area, like you saw how we wicked down here, right? And this FVG technically didn't register it, so possibly a nice discount place would be around your equilibrium on the 4 hours. So just putting it there, somewhere around here, right? I would look for a bounce on Sui around this area, because with this trend line, right, it's compressing. Compressing's not the right term, but you could see a potential breakout to the upside. Do I think it's likely on Sui? I do think fundamentally Sui's a great coin, right? It was posed as a Solana killer. It's just not performing how we all expected it to be. So yeah. All right. Thank you for dropping by, everyone. Again, do appreciate it. I was a bit scared because I've never done lives before, but generally you guys make it such an amazing experience. And yeah, thank you guys so much for dropping by for my show. I'll be back here again tomorrow. Hopefully we can get this nice chat going. And yeah, again, if you have any questions, just let me know. Tag me through the general chat. I'll try to respond to as many as I can. And then I'll make sure to post my calculator for you guys in my Crypto Signals channel so you guys can make copies of it and use it. So yeah, thank you guys for coming. Yeah, thank you. All right, have a great day, everyone, or great evening wherever you are. And once again, I'm Langstrom. See you tomorrow.